Hey guys, welcome back to more CALLOUS Crew Challenge, more RBY action. Feel like I just narrated this the other day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'm bringing you more. This is one of the highlight matches of the round for sure, and it's the first you've seen of either of these teams. It is Marco P on the oh-so-classy alt, Put It In Her Hoop, and he's representing Team The Rock Bottoms alongside Georgie and Sabella. The first you've seen of these guys, like I said. On the other side, Ban Manaphy, also known as Mana these days. He's representing Team Crack alongside Roro and Anti, or Bruno, or Kratos Mana, or whatever he goes by these days. They are considered one of the pre-tournament favorites. These are two players very well versed in this tier. RBY, arguably the second best tier for both of these guys. Maybe it's DPP for Marco, I don't know. But he definitely knows this tier, as does Mana. And this is one of the most important matches. We also have in this series Georgie against McMegan, Roro, which in ADV. Which, I mean, you would think that Roro's the favorite, but I think Georgie has more than a puncher's shot in that one. And then you've got Anti against Sabella in SS. According to the predictions, you guys think that Team Crack, that's Mana's team, is favored in all three of those matches, and this is supposed to be a wash. So certainly, if that is true, which I'm not saying that's my opinion, that's just what my chat thinks, if that is the case, then certainly Marco needs to win here, and he's very capable of doing that. Like I said, strong RBY player, but so is Mana. So this really is a good match. As always with this tour, it is a best of three. Here is game one. Marco Put It In Her Hoop on the bottom, Ban Manaphy on the top. Executor Jolteon, which Jolteon is a weird lead, and Pin Missile is ancient, but it does a lot of work there against Executor, who's 4x weak to it. So we end up with some more standard stuff here. But man, Jolteon's a mon in RBY. It just isn't usually a lead. So freeze fishing, as is often the case. In Lax's case, you can't freeze something that's already paralyzed, obviously. Counter there. We've had a couple unsuccessful counters so far in this tour. It's good when it works, but a lot of the time you get what you see here, which is a whole lot of nothing. Psychic crit, and then a T-Wave. Back to Chansey. That is now safe from being frozen after getting hit with T-Wave. Both players obviously going to have a Bull in the back, and then there's also going to be a Lax in the back for Ban Manaphy. So the team's largely revealed for both players. There is still the one unknown for both guys. Psychic crit and a para. There's another Psychic, but Soft Boiled negates basically all of it. Psychic again, another Specs drop, and an S-Toss. Zam doubled back there because it didn't want to get hit with a T-Wave should the Starmie stay in there, which it didn't end up doing, but that's why he pulled it back. Body Slam is taken pretty well by the eggs, and Lax, of course, is going to go for a rest, but there's a Specs drop as well, making it hard for him to stay in. Marco does get his own eggs in and gets himself a pre-boom opportunity, which is great, unless there's a Gengar in the back, which is never going to be, or I guess a Rhydon. He's going to have a pretty damn safe boom there. And indeed, he gets it off, and he booms on the Chansey, which has got to be a favorable trade, you would think, for Marco. Anytime in this tier you're trading a non-normal for one of the big three normals, Chansey, Lax, Bull, it's usually a good trade for the person who kills the normal. So I think Marco probably with a slight advantage with that trade. A little bit of back and forth, a lot of switching, as is very common in this tier. Lax finds his way in, goes for Earthquake. Possibly playing around counter himself, since counter only bounces back normal and fighting moves in this gen. Earthquake would not be countered. Bull sneaks in on Starmie, but again wants to play around a T-Wave, which is why Chansey comes in. Ended up being Psychic instead. S-Toss recover. S-Toss recover. S-Toss recover. Wow! Here's a Psychic and a crit, and a Specs drop, and a para. Momentum opportunity here for Mana. Switching it up now to Surf. Recover, and soft-boiled, both of them, of course, prioritizing safety. Can't blame them there. Chansey comes in once again because he doesn't want the Zam to get hit with a T-Wave. And maybe opportunity here with another para, but Chansey unfortunately is paralyzed itself. More para, and more playing it safe. Psychic underwhelming, but it does get the Specs drop. And recover. I do enjoy this tier, but it's not always exhilarating to watch. There is a Surf and a soft-boiled, sure. Here comes Zam again. Kind of a weird position because he kind of has to recover here, but that means he's going to get hit with T-Wave if Starmie's not fully paralyzed, which it's not. So now Zam is going to join the Paralysis Club. And Starmie there with a crit as Zam fully paralyzes, so a little rough for Marco. Could have lost Zam there. Hyper Beam there is going to not crit the opposing Lax. Bandman, if he takes a shot, doesn't really get punished for it, but nevertheless, he doesn't get a kill either. And it brings us back to this matchup. Fun, fun, fun. Surf there. Psychic PP probably getting relatively low. Yeah, he's got 4 of them, according to this. And that should be an accurate count. There's certainly no pressure in this gen, no abilities, so we're going to assume that 4 is what he's got. Neither one all that inclined to switch. Both of them kind of resigned to this is what the matchup is. Opportunity now for Marco. Ooh, he gets Starmie in on a full para, so he's got the ability to threaten the kill with Thunderbolt. A little bit of pivoting for mana. Jolteon in on Thunderbolt, eggs in on Surf, brilliantly done. Sneaks his Lax in, guarantees he can get a boom off, and he trades with the opposing Lax in doing so, leaving us in a 4-4. Good sequence for mana. Body Slam, Psychic respectively. Gonna soften up the Bull for the Bull Mirror match that feels inevitable here. And here it is. Blizzard, try to take advantage of that Specs drop. Doesn't get the freeze or the crit, but does win the subsequent speed tie. And now it's going to be simple enough for Marco to clean it up. As long as he doesn't miss Hyper Beam, which he never does, he's just going to finish this game off in a blink. Sets that up very nicely. The crucial turn, I think, being this turn right here. Not a lot of risk. I mean, Marco, the only way that Marco loses in this situation is if not only he loses the speed tie, but Ban Manaphy gets a Hyper Beam crit. Otherwise, Tauros just cleans up here. I guess it's also possible that Mana could have gotten a Blizzard Freeze, but the vast majority of the time, by simply staying in, Marco is going to win from this position. You can make an argument that he could switch here, for example, to the Starmie. It eats a non-crit Hyper Beam. You T-Wave the Tauros, and then you win anyway from there. But ultimately, what he was playing around is the same. Crit Hyper Beam, the out for mana. Almost certainly what he had clicked there, but we never get to know because Marco wins the speed tie, and then it's just a matter of not missing Hyper Beam, which you can miss Hyper Beam. It's not 100%, it's 90%. Plus, there's the 1 in 256 chance to miss. So you can always miss, but Marco plays to the odds and doesn't get robbed. So he is going to take down Game 1. And like I said, his team considered the underdogs in this series. So he's going to need the W both here and in one of a Game 2 or a potential Game 3 to give his team a lead, give them a fighting chance in a matchup that you guys think they are going to lose. Go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll go to Game 2. Marco, put it in her hoop against Ban Manaphy, Game 2. Jinx and Gar leads. Not a speed tie here. Gengar just faster, and it lands Hypnosis. Nightshade, however, is pretty underwhelming against Chansey, but what can you do? Chansey does, of course, have to be careful about Boom, and Man is being careful to not just click that aimlessly. Like right there, Marco was clearly playing for the boom and trying to bait it. That's why he doubled to ride on there. Perfect boom opportunity. Wanted to get that blown up on, but Mana didn't pull the trigger. Again, you see Marco playing around the boom. He also threatens the Gar with Earthquake, as there sure as hell is no Levitate in this one, so a real threat to Gar would take a ton of damage from the stab EQ. Not to miss it, there was also a freeze. Marco's Chansey out of commission with the perma-freeze. And there's a crit as well. So Mana off to quite the start. This one doesn't seem nearly as close or like it's going to go nearly as long as the previous game. Mana's up a Mon. Lax is damn near dead, low and paralyzed. Chansey is, well, out of commission, but was frozen. Yeah, things going the way of Mana here. Not a lot to say for Marco. Doesn't really have much of an argument for him being the lead in this game, but he's fishing for a crit here. Instead, he's the one who gets crit. That's rough. Had he not been crit, he would have survived, or had he landed a crit himself, he would have killed. But neither of those things occurred, and now Mana wins the Starmie speed tie, and Marco has seen enough. This one not nearly as close or suspenseful. Mana all over Marco in this one, and Marco worked so hard so long to win that game one. Well, 5 minutes later in real time, that is undone. Mana takes game two, sends us to a third game, and the winner, of course, it is the first game in their series. The winner will be up a match, which is very important, but it's not an elimination game one way or another. So I'll remind you for the final time, Marco, Put It in Her Hoop, is on the rock bottoms with Georgie and Sabella. Ban Manaphy on the top on Team Crack with Roro, also known as McMagan, and Anti, also known as Bruno or Kratos Mana. Here is game three. Put It in Her Hoop. Marco on the bottom against Ban Manaphy. And he's going to opt for the Gengar lead again. If it worked last time, maybe it'll work again. Gonna give it a go. T-Wave connecting with Gar. T-Wave again, thinking there'd be a switch, but there's not. And Chansey on Chansey. Last time, Marco had a ride-on to, if something's going to get blown up on, let that be the thing that absorbs it. Whether he has that again this time or not is unclear, but he gets out of the way rather than die to Psychic. That makes sense to me. T-Wave, Sleep Powder respectively. Starmie taking a nap for Mana. And there's an underwhelming Mega Drain. Gar sneaks in on Chansey, but gets out of the way. Reflect there would have largely negated the explosion, so good thing he didn't pull the trigger there. A lot of discipline with Mana. We saw this in the previous game as well. Didn't just blow up at the first opportunity. Respected that there could be and would be counterplay. And in both cases, there has been. Whether it's trying to get Rhydon in to absorb the explosion, or in this case, setting up a surprise Reflect to absorb the explosion. Mana, either way, has not fallen to those traps. Psychic for Executor. And now we're back to Chansey. This one, closer to game one than game two. Looks like a closer game. No ridiculous hacks thus far. Got ourselves an okay game at this point. Mega Drain crit certainly helps. Sleeping Starmie too. It's going to be really hard to recover that. Not only does it have to wake up, but then it has to take an additional turn to get recover off. Because remember in RBY, waking up is itself a turn. You don't get to wake up and do something in the same turn in this tier. So that Starmie's in some trouble for Mana. Maybe he can use it as boom fodder. Yeah, that's what he tries to do. But Marco outpredicts. He gets Mega Drain there and just picks it off. Does not blow up into it. Simply snipes it. Frozen Lax, however, for Marco makes this a bit closer. This game's been pretty close the whole time. Eggs trade via boom. Tauros on Zam. Out of here. Don't want to get T-waved. Marco opts for the middle ground Psychic because if it softens up the bull for the mirror match, great. And if it happens to hit Chansey, for example, it's better than just T-waving it and doing nothing when it's already paralyzed. Might as well do some damage on it. So the Psychic there was a nice safe play that was going to do something no matter what. Gar sneaks in. Wrong call. Psychic snipe. And there is Body Slam coming back. 3 to 5, but we all know what the last poke is for Marco, obviously Tauros. And then remember that the lax is at 8% and frozen. So even though it looks kind of like a one-sided affair here, it's closer than it looks. It's basically 3 to 4, and most things for mana are healthy, though the full power there doesn't help. A lot of switching. Hyper Beam gets a kill though, so we basically have a 3 to 3, and it comes down to the oh so common Tauros mirror match. One of the quirks of this tier. Speed tie for the game. Wah wah wah. Wah wah wah. Yeah, that reminds me quite a bit of the previous game. Game 1, that is. Crucial turn is right here. Tauros mirror match, and same shit. If Marco wins the speed tie, it's trivial for him to clean it up. If Mana wins the speed tie, it is not insta victory for him. The chance he can come in at 85%, that's out of Hyper Beam range unless it's a crit, and we get to keep playing. So yeah, for Marco's end, if he loses the speed tie, he's definitely behind, but the game isn't over. Whereas if he wins the speed tie, the game just ends, and just like in game 1, Marco wins the crucial bull-on-bull speed tie, and then you click a couple buttons to clean the game up. Body Slam 1, Body Slam 2, and that's that. So Marco P, put it in a hoop. He is the winner in this set. 2-1 victory over Mana and Team Rock Bottoms with the 1-0 lead over one of the pre-tournament favorites in Team Crack. It's going to require, in order for Crack to stay in the tournament, he's going to need Roro to defeat Georgie in ADV, and he's going to need Anti to defeat Sabella in SS. In real time, at the time of this recording, neither of those matches have occurred yet. I will certainly bring them to you when they do. But for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. A lot of elimination matches coming up if we get towards the end of round of 16, round 1, whatever you want to call it. It's the first round. It's a single elim tournament. Whatever floats your boat. Just have to remind you guys real quick, please like the video. Please subscribe to the video. Check out our channel, our Discord channel, that is. Link in the description if you want to be involved. And of course, if you want to donate to the store, strictly optional, you have the option to do that. It supports the prize pool. It all goes to the players. I don't keep anything. $5 minimum donation. If you have gotten $5 worth of entertainment and hype from this tour, please consider throwing a big $5, and the players will appreciate it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. More content to come. I will see you in the next video.